Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen, and I'm one of many volunteers that helps create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 117, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. This week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press is dated Friday, February 11th, 2021. And there's some big news for Neepawa. A new home for the home hardware by Owen Devereaux. A significant business in Neepawa is moving forward with a massive building upgrade. The Neepawa Home Hardware Building Center has announced plans to construct a brand new 20,000 square foot building and attached lumber storage facility. It will be located on 3.5 acres of land at 142 Main Street West, close to the junction of the Yellowhead Highway and Veterans Way. When completed, the structure would be nearly double the size of Home Hardware's existing building, which is at 268 Hamilton Street. The current cost estimate of the build is expected to be around $5 million, and the desired start time for construction to begin is set for sometime before the end of May. Michelle Gerard, the owner and operator of the Neepawa Home Hardware, spoke with the Banner and Press earlier this week about the planned build and expansion. She said that they have done everything they can to make the existing location work for their needs, but that they have simply reached the point where the present space just doesn't work for them anymore. Gerard also added that she is thrilled to be moving ahead on this project and with some new partners on board. She said, "I'm pretty excited. I'm working with a couple of partners right now who own other home hardware stores, and they're going to be buying a portion of the store with me. One partner will be active with the store, while the other one will not be as active. I'd like to start delegating a few more of my activities to somebody who's a bit younger. So I'll need some help managing the store, and this one partner is going to come in and learn the business. He already knows the home hardware business because of his stake in another store, but he has to learn the lumber business. And so he's going to take some courses and work with the Neepawa staff and be involved in the business." Gerard did not disclose the name of the new partners at this time, though those details will be made public in the near future. And it goes on to say, due to the massive expansion in space, Gerard said there will be an equally massive expansion in the number of employees that will be working for them. The current expectation is that 8 new full-time and 2 to 4 part-time positions will be created from the expansion. Currently, there are 14 home hardware employees. As for what will happen to the current building in Neepawa's downtown, Gerard said that they have no desire to leave it empty. She has noted that they are already in discussions with a few interested parties on the property. The Home Hardware Building Center is the latest in a long list of construction announcements for Neepawa in the last year. The new $5 million police station being built next to the fire hall is still on schedule. As well, the housing developments at the former CN property are starting to take shape. A new apartment complex on Mountain Avenue is also under construction. If that wasn't enough, a new hospital and hotel in Neepawa are planned to break ground in the near future. Despite these and many other developments on the go across town, Gerard said she is not at all concerned about getting available tradespeople for the job. The building itself will be just a shell, a concrete slab, 4 walls, a couple of bathrooms, and a few offices. So it's not going to be as an extensive build as the hotel. We just need the shell, and then we can set up the shelving and merchandise. It'll probably be another few months, 2 or 3 months after that. Michelle Girard and the staff associated with the business have been at current location since 2003. Initially, a True Value hardware location, Girard partnered with the Home Hardware brand in 2016. And this is the picture of the current location of the Home Hardware Building Center in Neepawa. And this is a mock-up of what the new Neepawa Home Hardware Building Center will look like once completed. Right here. Well, that's exciting news for sure. Next, we have some results from the 2021 census. Neepawa population breaks the 5,600 mark by Kira Patterson. The results are in, and what many have predicted about Neepawa's population has come to pass. With the 2016 census recording the town's population at 4,609, many community members figured it was only a matter of time before it surpassed 5,000. With the 2021 Statistics Canada census results made public on February the 9th, the official population for the town of Neepawa is now 5,685, a growth of 23.3% over the last 5 years. This makes Neepawa the 11th largest of the cities and towns in Manitoba, with the 3rd largest population percentage increase in the province. Neepawa Mayor Blake McCutcheon noted that he was not surprised with the growth that the town continues to see. It just shows that we're still moving forward. We are a town that's growing, and we understand that, and the census result just confirms it. Neepawa's Economic Development Officer, Marilyn Crew, noted that the town has already been planning for the community's growth. The processes that Council has in place for our growth are already in place. So that number just helps us with grants and other implications from the municipal side, she explained. McCutcheon added that over the last few years, he's been emphasizing the need for more housing, and the growth shown in the census supports that messaging. In addition, there's been multiple projects constructed and announced in the last few years that prove that growth is happening. We've got the new Rcmp detachment office, we've got the fire hall, we've got the new hospital coming in. On the recreation side, we've got our tennis courts, pickleball courts, water slide coming. We're working really hard there, he stated. We need to engage with everything, but housing is such a big part. It's just so important. Crew added that having these official numbers also makes it easier to appeal to future developers and businesses looking to invest in the community. There are certain business models that look for a community to be a certain size before they'll even look at your community, she explained. I can use the new census statistics to promote more business opportunities here. And certainly all the other things that are happening, the hospital, the new hotel, that just helps build all of that excitement around the attraction piece for new investment. She noted that the town had population projections done by an organization called Townfolio, which had been predicting continual growth in the community. However, the official total determined by the census has far surpassed the projections, which had estimated Neepawa's 2021 population to be about 5,390. At the end of the day, it's exciting, McCutcheon expressed. So many towns are not growing and holding their own, maybe slipping a bit. And we're growing by 23%. So it's pretty exciting. Canada's population overall increased by 5.2% to 36,991,981. In Manitoba, the overall population increase was 5%, with the 2021 number at 1,342,153. And these are, I think I'll read these. It's area, towns, and municipalities at a glance. And at the top is Neepawa. The 2016 population was 4,609. And the 2021 population, as we said, is 5,685, up 23.3%. Minnesota is also up by 11.9%. Their 2016 population was 2,449, and the 2021 population of Minnesota is now 2,741. Now in Carberry, it is also up 4.6%. The 2016 population was 1,738. The 2021 population is now 1,818. The North Cypress Langford population is up 9.7%. The 2016 population was 2,745. The 2021 population is 3,011. Westlake Gladstone is up 3.8%. The 2016 population was 3,154. 2021 is 3,273. The Glenella Lansdowne is down minus 4.1%. The 2016 population was 1,181, and today's population is 1,133. The Rosedale is also down by a percentage of 8.9. The 2016 population of Rosedale was 1,672, and today's population is 1,524. And lastly, the Minto O'Donnell percentage is also down 5.7%. The 2016 population was 1,189, and the 2021 population of Minto O'Donnell is 1,121. Next is some excerpts from the Town Council meeting on Tuesday, February 2nd, 2022 by Owen Devereaux. The town of Neepawa is hoping that a Royal Canadian Air Force RCAF flyby demonstration will be part of the 2022 Canada Day celebration. Town administration has been in contact with the representatives from the RCAF regarding placement upon the list of potential communities to be a part of the program. Every year, the RCAF conducts flybys throughout Canada as part of the celebrations across the nation. To be added to the list, Council must first approve proceeding with the request. That resolution was unanimously approved. Neepawa will expand its online service options for booking a space at the local campgrounds. As well, a rate increase for the Riverbend campground has been approved for 2022. The adjustments for the rates would be as follows. Campground usage with both water and electrical hookup, $25, now $30. With just electric hookups, used to be $20, now will be $25. And the no service sites will be up to $20 from $15. The campground rates have been relatively unchanged since 2008. A vote on a request to build a new fourplex apartment complex at 2270 Main Street E has been tabled until the next council meeting. The proposed two-story, 4-residential unit was brought forward by developer John Lee Chen and property owner G.C. Basanta. The building will also have room to construct 6 parking spaces, enough for the 1.5 parking space requirements of the town to receive approval. This application was circulated to all nearby property owners, and no objections were submitted to the planning district or the town. Town Council has approved the creation of a new public road on an oddly shaped portion of the land located just north of Stonehouse Street. The triangle-shaped portion of property was owned by Chicken Corral and is a holdover of where the railway had consisted at the time. Working with the current owners of Chicken Chef, which was the former Chicken Corral, the town plans to open up access in the area. The application was circulated to nearby property owners, and the town did receive a few calls requesting clarification on the reasoning for variation request. There were no objections submitted. Other notable items of the meeting are as follows. Councillor Murray Parrott provided an update on the repairs related to the 2020 Canada Day storm. In relation to the Park Lake Dam, rip-rap supply and placement, as well as tree and rock removal contracts have been given to Rob Smith & Sons Backhoe and Trucking Limited. The spillway and dam designs have gone through testing and have been updated accordingly. It is expected the town will soon have approval for construction of the temporary access within Park Lake. All the design work should be finalized after a geotechnical investigation. As for when construction will begin, it remains to be determined. Councillor Daryl Gerard notified Council that the County Courthouse Board recently held a meeting and approved its budget for the upcoming year. He also stated that the board has awarded its cleaning contract for the year. The board is also exploring options to optimize the building's use within the region. Mayor Blake McCutcheon, on behalf of Councillor Marika Kostenchuk, provided an update on the Handy Van program. He stated that Mary Porter has tendered her resignation as Handy Van operator. McCutcheon thanked Porter on behalf of the town for her years of service to the program. As well, a group of consultants provided through a provincially funded program will be reviewing the efficiencies of Handy Van and offering suggestions. The review should be completed by June. And in the travel and entertainment section, this one is entitled Oils and Inks on Display at Arts Forward by Casper Werhan. Arts Forward has 2 new exhibits on display in Neepawa. The first is Tanawin, a series of paintings done by local Filipino artist Robert Garcia. Tanawin features several oil on canvas paintings as well as some acrylic on canvas. Garcia captures many beautiful landscapes, some of which visitors to the gallery may even recognize. Garcia's landscape paintings are his first collection of illustrations of places he's visited in Manitoba, capturing them with his oil paints and brushes to become valuable souvenirs. Most of his landscapes are also done in plein air, meaning on the spot, and are recorded and uploaded to his YouTube channel called Little Brown Canadian. The second artist, also from Neepawa, is Brad Mummery. While people in Neepawa and area may be familiar with Mummery's scroll saw art, he also delves into other creative forms. His exhibit is a collection of India ink portraits done with India ink on gray tinted 184-pound paper. Each portrait spans several creative sessions and hours, using just a wee bit of a pastel white for highlights. At the time of writing this article on February the 3rd, Mummery was also planning to include another portrait in the collection, which would use gold highlights. each portrait is also contained in a handmade white oak frame. Both exhibits are on display at the Neepawa Gallery until March the 25th, and pieces from each one are available for purchase. And it shows some of the artwork here. This one is entitled One Sunday Afternoon by Robert Garcia. And these two are by Brad Mummery. This one is called Selma, and this one is called Sophia. Looks like Sophia Loren. And on page 10, yes, 11, this shows oil paintings by Robert Garcia, these three. They are all on display at Arts Forward in Neepawa until March the 25th. The titles of these paintings are, this one's called Night Camping. This one's called Golden Harvest. And this one is called Friends. And this one is called Reflection. And these two black and white pictures are from Brad Mummery's India Ink portraits. So they will also be on display at Arts Forward until March the 22nd. Many more of Mummery's and Garcia's art can be found there, so stop into the gallery while it's there. The titles of these particular portraits are Ayana and Audrey. Credit for the original photo this work is based on goes to Mark Finney. Mummery had been drawn to the photo and asked Finney for permission to create an India ink interpretation of it. They're beautiful. Oh. So go check that out at Arts Forward. I'll come back to this page. All right, Out of Helen's Kitchen, Helen Drysdale. This one is entitled Manitoba Weather. Manitoba's weather in winter is a common topic. When I go to town, I hear, "Cold, eh?" Sometimes the comments feel like it's bragging, like I am still out for the mail despite the cold, haha. In Manitoba, our mainly flat landscape allows the cold wind to sweep down from the Arctic in wintertime. Winnipeg has been declared one of the 5 coldest cities in the world, alongside of Yellowknife, Daninka, and Yakutsk, both in Russia, and Harbin of China. Our brutal temperatures have given Winnipeg the nickname of Winterpeg. We've all heard that. The average temperature for the month of January in Winnipeg is minus 18.3 Celsius. Northern Manitoba's claim to fame is it's the prairie's coldest region, with an average winter temperature of minus 20 degrees Celsius for a third of the year. Despite the cold weather, Manitoba's skies are filled with sunshine as we enjoy bright sunshine an average of more than 2,000 hours each year. When it is cold but sunny out, we often get sundogs. A sundog is the appearance of bright semicircular light that occurs on either side of the sun. Usually it happens just after sunrise or before sunset. Sundogs form when sunlight is refracted by ice crystals that are suspended in the atmosphere. Despite their beauty, sundogs are said to be indicative of foul weather coming. My dad's saying was that sundogs in the morning meant colder weather coming in, and sundogs in the evening meant snow or a blizzard was on its way. In the years long before radios, sundogs meant stay home or hunker down. On top of the cold, we have wind chill. Wind chill is what stops people from working outside and vehicles like the school buses from running. Wind chill is the effect of the combination of temperature and wind speed on our body. The wind strips away the warm layer of air above your skin. The stronger the wind the more heat your body loses. Extreme cold and high wind increase your risk of developing frostbite and hypothermia. The wind chill aspect is much the same as blowing on hot soup to cool it down. The movement of the air increases the soup's loss of heat. I believe our long cold winter months help us appreciate our spring, summer, and fall so much more. Nothing warms you up on a cold winter day better than a hearty soup. Fresh bacon scones pair well with this fragrant soup. And she has 2 recipes that you'll have to go online to see. Lentil soup is one, and the other one is bacon pepper scones. Sounds good. Now we have a guest editorial in the paper this week named Mike Waddell, and it's entitled Blue Collar Disconnect. It is said that every scar tells a story. When I was a child, our family was establishing a mixed farm 3 miles east of Arden. As the farm took shape, there were tasks for everyone. One of the things I learned to do early on was to pull nails out of lumber we were going to reuse. Where possible, the nails would be hammered straight and set aside for future use. As luck would have it, I ran into a particularly stubborn nail, and in my 10-year-old wisdom, I decided to straddle the beam intended for a corral post and put both hands on the crowbar to use my entire body weight to leverage the nail out of its stubborn set. To this day, every time I look in the mirror to shave, I am reminded of the scars that mistake triggered, as the flat end of the crowbar struck the bridge of my nose as the nail gave way under my weight. I learned a lesson that day about leverage, consequences, timing, and positioning in relation to the tools needed for a given job. As I write this column, the situation in Ottawa and across Canada is still very fluid as it relates to the Freedom Convoy, its proponents and its opponents. This is not a column in support or against the activities that are in the national focus. Rather, this is an observation that the activities have shone a spotlight on a glaring gap in our democratic makeup. Historically, when a group protesting a given issue or cause comes to the forefront, governments work to open channels of communication. Often it is through an emissary or a secondary leader, so as to prevent appearing that the leader is softening or giving way to the cause. This requires that someone in a given government can speak the language of those who are protesting, or at least, the very least, appear to be relating to them on some level. Of all the images Justin Trudeau can project or put on, the one he truly doesn't understand is the combination of blue-collar, rural, or even suburban life. Prime Minister Trudeau can wear the cultural apparel of many different peoples of the world and pull off a reasonable impression, or at worst a characterization of a lot of different groups, but putting on a tool belt, a hard hat, or work boots does not appear to be in his repertoire. Further to that, as I glance through the current cabinet roster, there are no characters who visibly jump out who could be an emissary in talks with the convoy and those who support them. No one in this government appears to be able or willing to speak blue collar. This is not a phenomenon unique to this government. Under previous governments of all stripes, there are gaps in understanding. As someone who has run for public office under the Progressive Conservative banner, I am all too aware that there is a shortage of right-leaning elected officials who can fluently speak the languages of healthcare, education, and social work as examples. Every election cycle, there are talks about the idea of electoral reform to allow for proportional representation or some other form of government that will theoretically level the playing field for all Canadians. When a plumber wants to find out where the leaks may be in a given water system, Then they apply pressure on a controlled basis to the pipes. Once the leaks are visible, pressure is eased and the fix is applied. Governments are no different than a plumbing system, and right now, as they are under pressure, the leaks and flaws of our current structure are visible. Now is a time to note where those flaws are and to move towards a long-term solution to the structural issues that seem to be preventing balanced representation with elected officials who can relate to the largest possible cross-section of their constituents. As a starting point, anyone who is running for public office should be able to show at least a few scars to their potential constituents as proof that they have experienced pain like those they intend to represent. Next, we have an article entitled White Mud Watershed Celebrates 50th Birthday by Casper Werhorn. The White Mud Watershed District, or WWD, has always been here. At least that's how it may seem to some. In actuality, it's fairly young. This year, the WWD is celebrating the occasion of its 50th birthday. According to an article by Wayne Hildebrand from the March 30th, 1992 edition of the Neepawa Banner, it was officially incorporated on March 22nd, 1972. The idea had originally been conceived in the 1950s and 60s with local Save Our Soil clubs and concerned local individuals who worked to pressure the municipal and provincial governments to form a conservation district. Those efforts had started in approximately 1957, according to an article from the March 30th, 1972 edition of the Neepawa Press written by Alan Nebbs. Citizens and council members from the area approached the provincial government that year, advocating for conservation programs to halt the area's water problems. As a result, the Watershed Conservation District Act was passed in 1959. Readers may be wondering, if the act was passed in 1959, why did the WWD not start until 1972? While there were attempts to organize a watershed under the Act in 1962, they unfortunately failed. The cited reason for this was that the majority of municipalities did not recognize the need for water control and soil and water conservation. In 1965, interest in programs to halt erosion and flooding in the area became evident, and another group, this time mostly formed by municipal councillors and reeves, approached the Manitoba government for assistance. As a result, the watershed legislation was then amended to be more suitable to the area. Finally, agreement between the area municipalities and the provincial government to form a conservation district was reached in the spring of 1972. Those involved were in agreement with the WWD would be divided into 8 sub-districts covering more than 2,400 square miles in the area east and south of the Riding Mountain, extending from just west of the city of Portage la Prairie to the western escarpment, and include recent problem areas such as the Big Grass Marsh. With the area covered under the agreement, the WWD would include all or parts of 18 different municipalities and communities, covering all areas which contribute water to the White Mud River. The WWD was Manitoba's first ever watershed conservation district and is its longest running soil and water conservation program today. Now, here we have a picture of 3 gentlemen. The 50-50 winner for the 2022 Manitoba Elks calendar draw was Ken Betteridge of Bethany, Manitoba, with a prize of $5,037.50. The winning calendar was sold by Neepawa Elks Lodge number 398. So pictured here we have Neepawa Elk Archie Smith, the local top calendar salesperson and seller of the winning calendar. Ken Betteridge, who is a former Elk at Manitoba, and the 50-50 winner. And this is Gerald Buchanan, a chairman of the Neepawa Elks calendar sales. Thank you to all the people who bought calendars. Good luck in the rest of the daily draws. All right, now we have a picture. Exciting. Westlake Gladstone ecstatic about new pool by Casper Werhan. The municipality of Westlake Gladstone is inviting everyone to make a splash. Initially announced last year at the end of June, the new Gladstone pool is projected to be built and ready for the summer of 2023. Nicole Sellers, Recreation and Leisure Administrator for the municipality, noted that Westlake Gladstone has been working closely with Western Recreation over the past year to finalize the plans and develop an artist rendering. That work is now complete. We're excited to illustrate to the public why we are so enthusiastic about this upgrade. This new facility will have a zero beach entry, making it not only safe for younger bathers, but also more accessible for all individuals. The layout of the new pool includes enhancements such as a lazy river, mushroom sprinkler for swimmers to enjoy, as well as a green space within the fenced-in area with picnic tables and additional seating around the pool. Having a facility that is versatile to so many different groups is a way for more people to come together, Sellers enthused, and the seating will allow people to stay connected and enjoy the pool even longer while taking a break. She added, "We are ecstatic about the thought of moving forward to modern features compared to our now 55-year-old pool. In addition to the pool itself, there will also be upgrades to the pool hut. These include a modern entranceway, staff room, and family gender-neutral change rooms, which will include features such as automatic soap dispensers, faucets, and hand dryers to keep the facility clean and the public safe. We are very grateful to Building Sustainable Communities, which granted us $300,000 towards this project," said Sellers. "And thank you to the many donations that are still coming in through businesses and individuals to help make this project a reality. The funds mentioned had been granted in 2021, covering just over half the total cost of the construction for the new pool." Sellers noted that if anyone is interested in sponsoring or donating towards the new pool, they are encouraged to visit the website for the municipality of Westlake Gladstone or to phone the office at 204-385-2332. In her final comments, Sellers said, "We look forward to you joining us and enjoying the new pool in the summer of 2023. And here is a picture of it. It's an artist's rendering of what the new Gladstone pool will look like. So there's a staircase with a water slide, and this is the new green space. This is the pool area with a mushroom sprinkler, and this must be the lazy river they were talking about. And then a diving board here at the deep end. Looks very nice. All right, now there's an article by about Dan Mazier reacting to the ousting of Aaron O'Toole by Owen Devereaux. For the second time in his tenure as MP for the Dauphin Swan River Neepawa riding, Dan Mazier will see the coronation of a new leader for the Conservative Party of Canada. The caucus for the federal party recently voted by secret ballot to remove Aaron O'Toole from the leadership position after just 18 months in his role. O'Toole was appointed Conservative leader in 2020 during the party's leadership campaign. The party had to make changes to the race due to the COVID-19 pandemic, including using mail-in balloting instead of hosting a leadership convention. In total, about 175,000 ballots were cast, the highest number of votes on the leadership in the party's history. O'Toole was voted out by 73 Tory MPs via secret ballot Wednesday, February 2nd, while 45 MPs voted in favor of keeping him in the top spot. Even though he is no longer leader, O'Toole will remain the Member of Parliament for his riding of Durham, Ontario. Mazier, who was one of the 118 Conservative MPs eligible to vote on the leadership, declined to say how he voted, wishing to maintain the integrity of the secret ballot. He did, however, express some concern with the process as it currently stands under the Reform Act. One of the key parts of the Reform Act, which was first instituted in 2015, is that it gives MPs in a party caucus the power to trigger a leadership review and to subsequently vote to oust their leader. I don't think it did our membership any good by short-circuiting the person that they said they'd pick for leader during the leadership convention, said Mazier. Who are these 118 people who decide? Actually, 73 people decide that by secret ballot, that no, we don't like this leader. I think there are other ways to be doing it besides triggering a national caucus and a national leaders review. For the democracy side, on the membership side, I wouldn't blame a member right now for being a little bit annoyed with the caucus. While Mazier does respect the rules as they stand, he hopes that the process will be revisited someday. As for just who should be the next party leader, Mazier said he has no personal favorite right now to step into the role on a permanent basis, but he does know what that person should embody. We need leadership, and we need someone who will remind us what it means to be Canadian, said Mazier. We have an amazing group. We have very strong, capable members, and I'm optimistic we can get through the ideologies that are testing us right now. Mazier was first elected during the 2019 election, while Andrew Scheer was the Conservative Party's leader. Mazier won re-elect last year, this time with O'Toole as the face of the party. Candice Bergen of Portage Lisgar will serve as the interim leader until the party's National Council can start planning for the new leadership race. As of the Banner and Press publication deadline, Pierre Poilievre of the Carleton, Ontario constituency is the only individual who has declared a leadership bid. Now, for the sports pages, the first article is entitled Westman Team Ropers Win Big by Ann Davison. Local team ropers Kyle Dalglish of Verdun and Brendan Fisk of Alexander, formerly of Oak Lake, have returned from the World Team Roping Competition with a $200,000 prize in their pockets. Having roped together for over 20 years, they exemplify the team effort in team roping. This past December, Dalglish and Fisk headed to Las Vegas for an event they've qualified for every year since 2009, the Ariat World Series of Team Roping finale, where they rose to second place among 499 teams. It was an experience, said Kyle Dalglish. When you end up winning $100,000 a man against those guys, things have to go smoothly. We've been working a long time and we've been working hard, so it was nice to complete the course. Fisk explains they completed in 3 rounds, and in the last round of the short go, they came back in the second highest position to qualify for a 4th round. There's no room for error in this rodeo ring. If you miss one, you're out. We roped 4 steers successfully, he says. They finished with an average time of 32 seconds over all 4 catches. In team roping, timing is the key. Dalglish, the header, makes his catch first and swings the steer slightly so heeler Fisk can rope both hind legs for a legal catch. The clock stops when there's no slack in their ropes and the horses are facing one another. Fisk credits his sorrel gelding Jax, saying he's a special horse. He's 8 or 9. I trained him to rope. He mainly has to listen to me and pay attention to the steer. Dalglish's 17-year-old bay gelding Curly didn't begin his career as a roping horse. I've had him for 10 years. He hadn't seen a rope really when I got him. He was in that cutting horse world, a turnback horse, a ranch horse. Fisk, an excavator operator, and Dalglish, employed with Heritage Equipment at Verdun, are amateur ropers who pursue their sport with a professionalism expecting to do well. I think every time we leave home, we feel that way. We always try to be well practiced and ready to go and compete every time, says Dalglish. He adds that this, their best ever win, still hasn't set in. They will not be resting on their laurels. Dalglish states, we're going to keep going. Not a doubt about it. I'm hooked. I've got the addiction. This article was submitted and used with permission by Ann Davison, Verdun Empire Advance reporter. Though Dalglish now hails from Verdun, he was raised and still has family residing in Neepawa. And here is a picture of them in the short round competition in the World Series team roping event at Las Vegas. Carl Dalglish catches the head while Brendan Fisk ropes the heels to come up with second place. Well, congratulations to them. And here's a picture of the Titans. A pair of losses to the Verdun Oil Capitals, including a 2-1 shootout defeat on Saturday, February the 5th, could have the Neepawa Titans needing help of other teams to push them into the playoffs. This weekend's games against Verdun will go a long way towards deciding just how much control Neepawa has over its own playoff destiny. And here we have Tristan Thompson, number 24. Is blocked from collecting a rebound at the Oil Capitals net. And here we have a picture of Austin Klein, who is the Neepawa Titans captain. He has been named the team's 2021-22 RBC ambassador. Comprised of one player from each MJHL team, community ambassadors are recognized for their volunteerism within their community and sportsmanship, both on and off the ice. Congratulations to Austin on the recognition. And staying with sports, the Neepawa Tigers win their 7th straight in the WHSHL by Owen Deverell. The only thing that seems to be able to halt the recent momentum of the Neepawa Area Collegiate Institute, NACI, Tigers hockey team was a literal power outage. The Tigers' home game against the McCreary Mustangs that had been scheduled for Sunday, February 6th was abruptly postponed due to a malfunctioning transformer near the Yellowhead Center. Manitoba Hydro has since fixed the problem. Perhaps that was a fortunate turn of events for McCreary, as when the lights are on, NACI seems to be pretty much unstoppable out on the ice right now. The Tigers, who are 17-7-0 with 39 points, played a pair of games last weekend, first defeating Minnedosa Chancellor 6-1 on Friday, February 4th. As usual, Tarek Lapointe had another big night for Neepawa, scoring 3 goals. That's the 3rd time in 4 games Lapointe was able to snag a hat trick. It was also the 7th straight game where he has been able to garner a point. Callan Dembo added a pair of goals as well, while Riley Davey had the other for the Tigers. Nathan Polachuk scored the only goal of the night for Minnedosa. Shots on goal were 36-18 for Neepawa. The next night, NACI took on the Rcmp Renegades, who are 13-13-0. Once again, Tarek Lapointe came up with a big 4-point effort, 2 goals and 2 assists, and pushed his point streak to 8 games. Jory Kulbacki scored the other goals for the Tigers and added 1 assist. Kulbacki and Lapointe are currently tied for the most points this season for NACI, as they each have accumulated 50 apiece. Lapointe has 30 goals and 20 assists, while Kulbacki has 24 and 26 on the year. As for the Tigers, they have put together an impressive winning streak of 7 straight games. They are currently in 3rd place in the WHSHL standing with a 35 points on the year. After a home game against Vincent Massey, who are 19-4-0 with 39 points, on Wednesday, February 9th, NACI will face Swan Valley, who are 12-11-0 with 26 points, at the Yellowhead Center on Friday, February 11th. Following that, the Tigers will then host the MS Mountaineers, who are 11-9-0 with 22 points, on Monday, February 14th. Both those games have a 7:30 p.m. start time. And the Tiger Hills Hockey League says that the first round of playoffs have been revised by Owen Devereaux. Due to the amount of games canceled over the past couple of weeks, the Tiger Hills Hockey League has made an adjustment to its schedule. The first change was to the end of the regular season, which was pushed back from February 5th to February 12th. Due to this shift, the first round of the playoffs, the divisional quarterfinals, will now be a best-of-3 series instead of a best-of-5. As for what's been happening on the ice, the Neepawa Farmers split their most recent pair of games. First, they lost to the Gladstone Lakers by the score of 9-2 on Wednesday, February 2nd. Kyle McDonald and Ward Susky scored for Neepawa, while the Lakers were led by a 3-goal effort from Johnny Bolio. Lyndon Soper, Derek Walker, Scott Glennie, Carl Bolio, and Sean Kubis also scored. That victory for Gladstone ensured them at least a second-place finish in the THHL's Eastern Division, while it ended Neepawa's hopes for finishing any better than 3rd. The Farmers bounced back from the disappointment against Gladstone with an impressive 9-3 decision over the Carberry Plainsmen. There were several huge performances by Neepawa on the night, including Garrett Rempel and Brett Lewandowski, each registering 5-point nights, 2 goals and 3 assists respectively. Benoit Mowbray had a 4-point performance, 2 goals and 2 assists, while Braden Gillies had himself a pair of goals on the stat line. Ward Susky had the other goal for Neepawa in the rout. The Farmers have 1 game remaining on their regular season schedule, as they will play the Cartwright Clippers on Saturday, February 12th in Cartwright. Elsewhere around the league, the Minnedosa Bombers beat Pilot Mound 5-3 on Friday, February 4th. Kelly Stinson had 2 goals for the Bombers, while Shane Jury, John Cowell, and Ricky Kowalik rounded out the scoring for Minnedosa. The next night, the Bombers lost a close one to Cartwright, 2-1 in overtime. Ryan Haino scored the only goal of the evening for Minnedosa. The Bombers and Farmers are now tied for 3rd in the East, with identical 10-4-2 records on the year. Okay. Now we have Carberry, North Cypress, Langford section by Gladwin Scott. Kelly Marnock's rink of 3rd, Bart Witherspoon, who throws 4th, Rocks, 2nd, Brandon Jorgensen, lead Dean Smith, and 5th, Justin Rychek, will participate in the 2022 Viterra Men's Provincial Curling Championship at Selkirk, February 9th to 13th. There will be no banquet, and Tuesday, February 8th will be for practice. The Selkirk Curling Club has 6 sheets of ice. 28 rinks are entered, and William Lyburn is their first opponent. Local golf superintendent Derek Samagalski will curl 2nd with Mike McEwen's rink. In the 2022 Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Thunder Bay, the Mackenzie Zacharias Rink, who won the Team Manitoba crown in Carberry December 19th, won their first 3 games, lost to the Northwest Territories 8-6 and Nova Scotia 7-6 before edging Quebec 4-3 in an extra end and defeating Alberta 10-7. Zacharias then scored 5 in the second end against Team Canada, but gave up a 4-ender and eventually lost 10-7. With a 5-3 record, they had a tiebreaker against Galusha of the Northwest Territories, who eliminated them with an 8-6 win. The young, talented Altona Rink will learn from their second national Scotties experience. Manitoba was able to send 3 rinks to the 2022 Scotties. Team Canada, who is Carrie Einerson of Gimli, Team Manitoba, who is Mackenzie Zacharias of Altona, and Wildcard 1, Tracy Fleury of East St. Paul. Skip Tracy Fleury, who made the Manitoba playoffs in Carberry, missed the first part of the 2022 Scotties in Thunder Bay with COVID-19. Selena Negevin moved up to skip, and sister-in-law Robin Negevin, who was originally brought on as the 5th for the Scotties, moved into the 3rd position. Carrie Einerson, 2-time Canadian champion with Val Sweeting, Shannon Bouchard, and Brianne Meilleur, went through their 9-team pool undefeated. Kristen Karwacki is their 5th, and Reed Carruthers is their coach. The National Scotties All-Star team included the entire Carrie Einerson rink. Selena Negevin, who skipped Tracy Fleury's rink for 7 games, was named 2nd All-Star skip. In the Manitoba clash, Einerson eliminated Fleury and then went on to beat Andrea Crawford's New Brunswick rink 8-4. In the final, it was Einerson defeating hometown favorite McCarville of Northern Ontario 9-6, a three-peat for Team Einerson. Canadian curlers collected $785,245 on Sunday, January 30th on Santa Schmerler Day for neonatal equipment in 89 hospitals. Taylor Holland of Carberry, a 3rd-year BU student, will play 3rd for Team BU at the Western Canada University Curling Championship in Regina, February 4th to 6th. Brandon is the only Manitoba institution with the curling program. And the community profile this week is on Tyler Hood. Tyler is 17 years of age and a member of the Carberry Collegiate 2022 graduating class who plans to follow his family tradition and become a potato farmer. He plays defense and some left wing for the GCB Wildcats high school hockey team. Tyler stands 6'3" weighs 190 pounds, and has become a junior firefighter. People who have positively influenced his life are Scott Brown, Dustin Fisher, Ryan Robson, and Craig Becker. And the Wildcats hockey update is as follows. Although the Glenborough Carberry Boulder Wildcats outshot the Hamiota Rivers Elton Strathclair Huskies 44-25, the visitors edged the hosts 3-2 in Carberry Sunday, January 30th. Tanner Mervyn recorded 3 assists, and goals were scored by Brett Melnick, Kyler Sutherland, and captain Zane Dick, with his 27th for the Huskies, who held 1-0 and 3-1 period margins. Jaron Waldner and Talon Graham dented the twine for the hosts, who received assists from Tyler Hood with 2, Nathan Dick, and Jackson Mueller. It was a fast-paced, entertaining game, with the Wildcats unable to beat goalie Connor Dawson with numerous scoring opportunities. Carson Mooney recorded the shutout, and the Wildcats' top line was dominant in a 3-0 decision over the Dauphin Clippers in Glenborough, Wednesday, February 2nd. Jaron Waldner opened the scoring with the help of Johnny Myers and Trey Dixon, unassisted. gave the hosts a 2-0 margin after 20 minutes. Dixon tallied his 32nd goal with assists from Waldner and Myers in the second frame. The Wildcats outshot the Clippers 37-13 with a scoreless third period. The entire team played a strong two-way game. The next GCB home games are Friday, February 11th in Carberry at 7 p.m. and Wednesday, February 16th in Glenborough at 7:30 p.m. And Here and There by Gladwin Scott is as follows. February is Black History Month, and it is a time to reflect on the success and sacrifice of people such as Martin Luther King, Jackie Robinson, Hank Aaron, Barack Obama, Willard Reeves, James Murphy, etc. Mike Rechtel and Bryce Watson recorded 3-point performances to pace the host Wawanesa Jets to a 5-2 win Friday, February 4th. Zane McConnell and Matthias Van der Woestijn replied for Carberry, who got assists from Russell Adrianson, Brady Laycock, and Tyson Cloet. The Neepawa Farmers scored 4 shorthanded goals en route to an 8-3 victory over the host Plainsmen Saturday, February 5th. Zane McConnell, Jackson Stevens, and Ethan Bjornson replied for Carberry, who trailed 3-1 and 5-2 at the period breaks. Assists were recorded by Danny Case, Brady Laycock, Russell Adrianson, and Josh McMillan. Next is the Spruce Plains Rcmp report by Corporal Jacob Stanton. During the week of January 31st to February 6th, Spruce Plains Rcmp dealt with 47 police activities. On January 31st, Rcmp responded to a stranded vehicle in the RM of Rosedale. It was learned that the motorists were trying to see the northern lights and got stuck in deep snow. A tow truck came and towed the vehicle to safety. Police received a call about an abandoned vehicle in the RM of Minto O'Donnell that the caller suspected was stolen. Police attended and completed checks on the vehicle, which was indeed stolen. The vehicle was towed and the matter is still under investigation. February 1st, Rcmp conducted various proactive traffic enforcement and engaged with several motorists. Numerous tickets for speeding were issued. February 2nd, Rcmp were dispatched to a collision in Neepawa involving 2 motor vehicles. Icy road conditions caused one vehicle to slide through a stop sign into an oncoming vehicle. There were no major injuries and 1 ticket was issued. February 3rd, Rcmp responded to a report of harassing communications in Gladstone. The matter is still under investigation. Police were dispatched to a commercial alarm in Minnedosa, which was later determined to be false. Police received a report of a hit and run to a vehicle in Minnedosa, but there was insufficient evidence to proceed further. On February 4th, Rcmp received a report of threats being uttered in Minnedosa. Both involved parties were spoken with, and the complainant did not want to proceed with charges. Police responded to a report of identity fraud in Neepawa, where there was insufficient evidence to proceed further. On February 5th, Rcmp responded to a vehicle collision at a gas station in Neepawa, where a motorist accidentally drove into multiple posts in an attempt to get gas. The driver provided their license and registration information, and the matter was sent to MPI to be dealt with. On February 6th, Rcmp were dispatched to a report of individuals at a business in Minnedosa not complying with COVID restrictions. Police attended, spoke to the individuals who then left the business. Police received a report of a suspicious vehicle in Gladstone. Patrols were made, but the vehicle could not be located. Rcmp conducted 20 traffic enforcement actions during this reporting period. Okay. Here we have a picture of Winter Adventure Weekend. The 17th annual Winter Adventure Weekend was held on February 5th and 6th at Riding Mountain National Park. Hosted by friends of Rmnp, The activity was well attended with participation in the many seasonal events. Here we have some people enjoying hot chocolate by the campfire outside the Friends Learning Center on Saturday. And here we have Joel Duhame and Marianne Bola participating in the snow sculpting competition during the 17th annual Winter Adventure Weekend. This pair made a snowy fox for their sculpture. And here we have an article, I think I can get through it in time, a pair of McCreary residents turning 100 this month by Kira Patterson. 2 residents of McCreary will be joining the Centenarian Club before the end of February. Jean Davis and Norman Shinton are going to be celebrating their 100th birthdays on February 17th and the 28th, respectively. Jean Davis grew up in Winnipeg but spent most of her adult life in McCreary. She came from a family of 12 with 5 brothers and 7 sisters. She recalled having lots of fun with the siblings, playing cards quite a bit with them. One sister, she was sort of a bully, but she became a best friend. Davis isn't the first in her family to reach the 100-year milestone. She noted that her oldest sister lived to be 107. Despite being raised in the city, Davis noted that she considers McCreary to be her home. Moving from Winnipeg to such a rural community wasn't easy at first, though. When I moved from Winnipeg to the country, I was afraid of everything that moved. Living in Winnipeg for that many years and then moving to the country, it was far different. Davis moved to McCreary in the 1940s because of her husband's work. She noted that country living was very lonesome at first, but it didn't take her long to get adjusted. I got to know the lady farmers very well and fast. They moved around a lot in the first few years of being in the McCreary area, but eventually bought a house that remained the family home for over 50 years. Davis recently moved to a seniors assisted living apartment in McCreary, but the locals still refer to her former home as Jean's house, she shared with a chuckle. Davis and her husband Charles were married for almost 50 years, but she noted that he passed away just a few months before their golden anniversary. They had 2 children, son Clive, who currently lives in Alberta, and daughter Donna, who was an X-ray technician in Winnipeg before she passed away a few years ago. Davis moved to Winnipeg for about 18 months to be with her daughter while she was ill, but she always intended to return to McCreary. Davis noted that she's thoroughly enjoyed her nearly 100 years. She was very active when she was younger, going for walks, golfing, and playing baseball. She picked up golfing later in life, but it was one of her favorite hobbies. I started golfing when I was 72, but I didn't stop golfing until I was 90. She shared, noting that she got started because her daughter bought her a set of clubs when she was 72 years old. Part of her connection with the other soon-to-be centenarian Shinton was through golfing, as his wife was one of her regular golf partners. We've been good friends for many years. Davis went golfing almost any chance she got. In fact, one year she golfed 109 games of 9-hole with her friends, she recalled. She joked that she wasn't a very good golfer, but she loved the game. Nowadays, she keeps her mind active, playing card games regularly. That is one hobby she excels at as well. She's competed provincially and won red ribbons in bridge and cribbage. Davis has remained fairly independent and relatively healthy even at the age of 99. Only an injury to her back and a decline in her hearing has slowed her down a bit. I feel good. And you know what? I haven't got a pain. I go to bed without a pain and I get up without a pain. In terms of her birthday celebration, Davis said they'll keep it small because of the pandemic. However, her son is coming out from Alberta to mark the occasion. She added that his 75th birthday is coming up a couple days before her 100th, so they will be celebrating their milestones together. On the other hand, Norman Shinton has spent most of his whole life in the McCreary area, but it started much farther away. He was born in Kinlet, England, but his family moved to Canada in 1928 when he was still young. He explained that his mother had tuberculosis, so the doctor recommended getting out of British climate and moving somewhere drier. The family settled in Norgate, Manitoba, just a few miles south of McCreary. Shaitan noted he doesn't really remember living in England, but he remembers his mother telling him stories of his short time there. The only thing I do remember is what my mother referred to as a bad little boy. I almost lost my life as a little daredevil because I was playing on the streets, and I fell on the streets, and a horse and a cart passed by, and the wheel of the cart scraped some hair off my head. Despite spending his apparent troublemaking years in England, Shaitan has always considered himself as the little boy from Norgate. Since that initial move, the Norgate and McCreary area has been the only place he's called home. Shaitan grew up on a farm, and several of his occupations have been agriculture related, but he noted he never stayed at one job for much longer than 10 years. I sort of geared myself as a 10-year person. Every 10 years, I change and do something else, he joked. His first job after working on the family farm was working for a McCreary local named Albert Fletcher. He's now a mentor of mine for sure. I learned quite a lot from him. Shaitan's business life ranged from owning and operating a John Deere dealership to opening a Marshall Wells store in McCreary, to running a construction business and even working for a local farm family driving combines. He was also involved in local politics, serving as a councillor in McCreary for several years. He enjoyed the recreational side of life as well. I was quite an ardent golfer, and I love sports of any kind. Much of his time in retirement was spent golfing. He noted that he was even featured in a picture promoting the golf course. Shaitan also enjoyed baseball as a talented pitcher. He is also a member of the local Masonic Lodge. That's another part of life that was always nice to me and good to me and taught me lessons of who was that little boy from Norgate. In terms of family life, he was married to his wife, Marie, for over 60 years before she passed away about 10 years ago. He also has lost 2 daughters and a son, Carol, Darlene, and Bob, who all live in Manitoba. He noted that all the work he did was to help take care of his family and support them. So my path to the 99th year has been very successful. I'm inclined to brag a little bit there. In closing, Shaitan shared a bit of advice that he's learned during his lifetime. If you're blessed with anything good in life, don't abuse it. Make good use of it, and you'll live a long time, he stated. Whatever God's given you, don't waste it. Aw, that's so sweet and so true. So that is it for this week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.